Okay class, now I'm going to show you how to make an album stitch with a cover. Now when you make your cover, you have two pieces of book board and two spines like this. Now when you make your book, they're going to be about a ½ centimeter apart. So your pages can either be the exact same size if you want as the whole thing, but you have to add in that ½ centimeter, or you can make them a little smaller, which is what I've decided to do. I've made them a ½ centimeter smaller on all sides. This is so the pages don't stick out, but that's up to you how you want to do it. So it's going to look kind of like this. It needs to go in the spine though, in a spot where the holes are going to be, right? So it can't be like this or something, because then it won't get sewn together. So it can be kind of like that. I think is good. Okay, and then the other one's going to go on top like this. Now we got to make our covers. So I have my decorative paper. Guess I like this side better. Now I'm going to trace it with a pencil. First I want to make sure they're lined up, so I'm going to use a ruler. You can also just use the ruler. Let's see. I'll put it there on 13. And there we go. Okay. Okay, and just like before, we're going to cut off the edges. That's a little bit far away. Let's go a little closer. All right, and because this one is smaller on this side, I'm going to cut these down. There's no need for them to be so big. All right, so this is going to be for one of our covers. Now I got to do the same thing for the other one. About a ½ centimeter. Okay, so now we're going to start with connecting our spines to our boards with the book leather. So I just cut 1-inch strips, so that's about 2 centimeters. But it doesn't really matter how big you cut it. Now we're going to mark and do it with the other one. Okay, so now we have on there where it's supposed to go. So we have a piece of paper for the gluing. sheet of paper. Do the other side. Okay, now you're going to put that underweight to help it dry. Do the same thing to the other side. Moved a little bit, so just push it back. While it's still wet, you have flexibility to push it back. Okay, put that underweight. Okay, so now we have to get our covers ready. And actually we have to cut these apart. Now we're going to basically overlap this paper over the spine and over this cover. So we want it to go over by about a half a centimeter, I think is good, on each side. So we're going to just mark it like that. Same thing on this one. So from this, right? From the edge where we drew the pencil, we want to just mark it half centimeter in. And the same thing with the other one. So I'll just mark it like this. Basically, it's going to go on like that. And like that. Okay, and then it's going to fold up. I'm going to do the same thing we did with corners, exactly the same in the past. So first things first, we're going to glue up the inside of our cover paper. Again, we start from the inside and we go towards the edges. get a nice new sheet of paper. Get rid of the old gluey paper. Okay. Remember, pulled up from the middle and then go out the edges. Whoop. I went over that a little too much, so I got rid of it. Get the edges nice and crisp. Remember to pinch in your corners. Pinch it like that. See how it's ripping? That's just because it's cheap computer paper. If you're using nicer paper, it won't do that. Go around the whole thing. Give yourself some nice edges. And the reason this is not sticking down very nice is because I didn't put enough glue on there. So if that ever happens, you just have to add some more glue. Okay. And now we need to do one more piece of paper that goes on this side. Now, we want to measure, when we do this, how big it should be. Just depends how much of this you want showing. I think I probably want it to actually match this one, because then it'll fit really nice together. So that's how I'm going to do that. So this is our end paper, as you remember. It does need to be smaller than the cover. If you made your pages the same size as your cover, you need to make the end paper a little smaller. Otherwise, it's going to stick out and look really weird. And this is just some random scrap I had lying around. Let's just mark it off. So what do you think? Yeah, that looks like a nice size. Okay. All right, so move this one out of the way. Bring back our cover. Get it when you're happy with it. You can still move it while it's wet. but once it's dry, it's stuck there. So get your bone folder and make sure you go down into crease. Make sure you get all the edges nice and sharp. Okay, now this can go underweight and it can dry. See, you have a nice cover. Do the same thing with the other one. Okay, class, so these have been underweight. This one's looking really nice. It's got kind of an even, you know, a centimeter and a little bit spine there. And you just kind of want to make sure it moves, okay? So give it a little twist. This one's not as good. See, what happened was when I was gluing this down, it obviously shifted. So pay more attention than I did. I'll do a better job than me. Okay, so we'll do this one on the back. This is not as nice. Okay, well that looks good though. It says blah, blah, blah. All right, we got our pages right here. So I want them to go in like that. So now we gotta figure out where to put our holes. So I'm gonna make a little guide for us, a little jig as it's called. So let's cut it off to here. All right, and we want the holes to be about like there. So let's do a little measuring. If the spine is 2 centimeters, it's like 1 centimeter, it's halfway in. That's, yeah, looking nice. Okay. It is 15 centimeters. So we'll just divide this one evenly because I think that's the easiest way to do it. At 3 centimeters each. Okay, let's do it down here. Easier. 3, 6, 9, 12. So these are where the 4 holes are going to be. We want them to be a centimeter in, right? Let's do 1, 1. So they're going to be here, here, and let's see, there. That's good. those are where the holes are going to be. Okay. So you can actually just use an awl on this. Now, if you were to use the hole punch, I'm deciding not to use it. It's really mostly for if you're going to use ribbons. This is how you would use it. You would like twist it and then like hit with a hammer. So I'll try hitting with this because I don't have a hammer. So you can do that, see? And then you have to like poke out. A bit. But I think it's just easier to use an awl, honestly. But I wanted to give you this option. There you have it. But it takes quite a bit of effort. It's better with a hammer. I just don't have one. Okay, so now we gotta poke holes into our board. I'm gonna clip this on. See, now it's through. And I think it's good to do it on the front because on the inside it gets a little bit more like weird looking. I think this is actually easier, there we go, than using the punch. I think the punch is kind of hard. Okay, so that went through all 4 holes. Now when we want to do the other one, I think it's better to flip it so that way the holes actually line up exactly right in case you did it unevenly. Kind of like that. Now we have to do the pages. So I want to sort of get them how you want them. And I'm doing this just so I can make sure that it's lined up where I want it on the book. And still needs to keep going through a little bit more. Went through all the way, this one didn't yet. All right, they all went through now. Okay, so now it's time to sew it together, but as you can see, this part of the page is completely lost. So when you open it, you want to make sure that your image or anything is going to be in here, not getting cut off. All right, so once again, we need 4 times the length of your spine for your thread. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we'll start on the back. So starting on the back, and we're just gonna tape this guy down here, leaving enough room to tie it. Okay. See how it's getting loose? You want to keep on pulling it tight. So sometimes you have to pull each thread one after another. There we go. Sometimes it can be kind of hard to get in there. Don't give up. Just kind of open the book up to the inside and sort of look in. There we go. Whew. Okay. That one was a lot easier. Who knows? Sometimes it's just feeling easier. Pull that. Okay. That one was easy. Okay. Take this tape off. and then you just tie it. This one, I might even make a little bow if we want, or you can cut it. All right, and there you have it. That is how you make Japanese style album stitch with a hardcover.